It will be Christmas in 1 week. During these days, as we rush to prepare for the feast day, we can ask ourselves, how am I preparing for the birth of the celebrated one? A simple yet effective way to prepare oneself is to set up a nativity scene. Indeed, the nativity scene is like a living gospel. It brings the gospel to the places where people live, in homes, schools, work and meeting places, hospitals, retirement homes, prisons, and in the squares. And in those places where we live, it reminds us of an essential thing, that God did not remain invisible in heaven, but rather came to earth, became man, a child. To make a nativity scene is to celebrate God's closeness. God has always been close to his people, but when he became incarnate and was born, he was very close, extremely close. To make a nativity scene is to celebrate God's closeness, to rediscover that God is real, concrete, alive, and vibrant. God is not a distant Lord or a detached judge, but rather humble love that descended upon us. The child in the nativity scene transmits his tenderness to us. Some small figurines portray the bambinello with open arms to tell us that God came to embrace our humanity. It is beautiful, then, to stand before the nativity scene and to confide our lives to the Lord, to speak to him of the people and situations that we have in our heart, to take stock with him of the year that is ending, to share our expectations and apprehensions. In this fourth week of Advent, we come right up to the very moment of the appearing of the divine child. And Pope Francis offers us a concrete way to enter into this moment. To set up a nativity scene in our homes or elsewhere, and to look closely to see what it has to teach us, and particularly what the infant at the very center of the scene has to say. As a parent and a grandparent, I can't help thinking of the effect that any newborn has on those who are gathered around. These tiny people are very sweet, of course, but their sweetness invites not simply sentimentality. We find ourselves drawn in a kind of awe, a kind of wonder at the vulnerability of the tiny being who presents herself or himself to us, who asks for our attention and concern. When our own grandchild was born not long ago, although the challenges and stresses of life remained, my husband and I found that we had all the time in the world to sit near or to hold her, to wonder at her beauty. And when she grew a bit and could hold out her arms to us, we could not resist. But babies come also to teach us. They teach us new forms of love, and sometimes very demanding forms indeed. We find ourselves asking, how can we care for this beautiful creature well? And they offer us even new ways of seeing the world. We come to everything around us anew, knowing now that this is the place that will be this child's home. Thinking of the effect of particular babies in our own lives can help us to see more clearly, in a certain way, the message of Pope Francis here. To ponder the sweetness of the infant in the manger is to allow ourselves to be drawn in beyond sentimentality, to hear the call of God in whatever specific circumstances this baby has found us. And once drawn in, we will find ourselves asking, what new kinds of love are we being taught? What new ways of seeing the world are open to us in this child? who opens his arms to us. May God bless you in this Advent and Christmas season.